we're the people in the media that understand what's going on are out there taking the heat from the fans who are up in arms because the Eagles, they thought they were going 17-0. There was so much talk. Why after 8 games would anyone think the Eagles are going to go 17-0? It's not like they're a juggernaut that's winning by 40 every week. Now, they look good. They're very balanced. There's still a serious threat to go to the Super Bowl and win it. But people I think you at least need to get to 10-0 before people start drinking the undefeated season Kool-Aid. And even without 2 games against the Giants and a game against the Cowboys, it was going to happen at some point. And, Chris, your most vulnerable spot is against a team in your division.
Sure.
Against a team that knows you.
Right.
A team you play twice a year and goes into your stadium every year. They're not intimidated by that. They're not in awe of you, and they have extra incentive to go kick your ass.
That's
it really
right.
isn't a surprise that it happened. It's probably one of the reasons why you took the Commanders as one of your best bets, getting 11.5 last night.
Well, it was. Because of a lot of what you said, Mike. You're right. We saw, one of the points I made right when we were talking about the game last week is just that when they played the first time, Washington had a pretty good feel to stop the design RPOs, the read options, all the little things that kill defenses when they play the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the run game. We worry about that. Oh, wait, we stopped the run. Oh, man, RPO. Oh, we stopped the run. Oh, man, now he kept the ball around the edge. So they had a little plan there. And that's to your point, and I think they got a little feel for the offense. So that was big time. The Washington defense was big time. There's no doubt about that. But I think the story of the game, as we started off the show, was, yes, Brandon Graham made the big penalty, but the D-line, to me, was the story of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the fact that they couldn't control the line of scrimmage enough in the run game, with Robinson running the ball, not at huge numbers, but successful enough to always keep them in 2nd and 7, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and then the D-line not being able to rush the passer. It might be the only kryptonite here we see with this Philadelphia Eagles football team. There's not many weaknesses. This is why they traded for Robert Quinn. I think they were looking for somebody that could add a little splash in that department. But that, to me, if you gave me reasons to rank what happened in the game and where do we look at, the Eagles D-line would be the spot I would look at. The first matchup, the difference in the game was the Eagles D-line sacked, Carson Wentz 8 times, right? They totally ruined the offensive game plan for Washington. Washington was overwhelmed. Early in the year, they couldn't run at all anyways, and then they couldn't protect. This was a different story. And that's where Heineke, all the 3rd down conversions, these long drives that kept the Eagles offense off the field, to me, again, the big thing was the Eagles D-line didn't dominate like the first time. They got pushed around a little bit in the run game. And like we're seeing on these plays right here, nobody around Taylor Heineke. He's in the pocket, smaller quarterback, and got plenty of time and lanes to see down the field and make the throw. So that's kind of where I would start with at least the issue for the Eagles last night, Mike. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, here's what I think.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles, talked after the game about why they lost. So let's see what the guy in charge of last night's effort had to say about his 8-0 team falling to 8-1.
Whether the calls were bad or whether the calls were good or whatever it was, I think when you play the way we did tonight, and when you play the way we did on all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, coaching, right? When you play like that, it does seem like it seems like everything's going against you. You create your own luck, and we played like crap. We didn't do a good enough job, and and it feels like things go against you. Those plays, those scenarios that happen when you play like that get magnified, right? Whether it was the right call or wrong call, and so we made our own luck today, and it was bad.
It's an excellent point,
Exactly.
Chris, because what did we see on Sunday, and what have we seen all year from the Vikings? No matter what happens, they find a way to ignore what transpired and focus on making a play. Go make a play. Got screwed by the Gabe Davis thing.
play.
So what? We're going to keep going.
Right.
Bad call here, bad outcome here, bad luck here. We're going to keep going. Kirk Cousins takes a bad sack. We're not going to crumble. We're going to keep going. We're going to come back and throw the 4th and 18, whatever the hell that thing was that Justin Jefferson did, climb up and catch it. And that's the key. And we've said this many times this year. The best teams find a way to ignore the days that feel like aren't their day.
Yeah.
Because there's always the other team thinking, hey, today's our day.
Right. We got a good game plan. We did that.
It's not our day.
Right.
Yeah, it's not our day. The challenge in the moment is to overcome those feelings and say we're going to make it our day anyway. I can remember that with when Cam Newton, when things were going well with Cam Newton, the Panthers in 2015 were unstoppable. But then there'd be those days where you could just tell from his body language, it's just not my day. You have to find a way to set that aside. You got to rise above that, and that's what Sirianni's talking about, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. We've seen them hit some lulls in the third quarter and stuff, and then step on the gas pedal again and put teams away. We have, but this is the first time we saw kind of a four-quarter lackluster performance. The game started off in a great way with the defense making plays, strip sack, fumble, but then from that moment on, Washington's offense controlled and dictated the flow of the football game, plain and simple. Whether it was the run game, the great game plan by Scott Turner, the offensive coordinator by the Commanders. I think Troy Aikman did a good job, showing some of that stuff last night. Creativity, like you talk about, what's my fourth down play? They had some good plays in those moments that were creative to get them the fourth down, some first downs, and did a good job of not letting a big Eagles overpowering offensive line and most nights settle in. How many plays, Mike, think about last night? You see people a little bit like the Shanahan, McDaniel, and Miami type of stuff. Guys going in different directions, and, oh, wait, we got to go this way. Wait, we got to go that way. Oh, wait, they're running the ball right up the middle, but we were side shuffling to the side, and now we get, hit in the face by a run up the gut. So there was great game planning across the board. It was a phenomenal performance by the Commanders. It really was managed. The game was almost managed perfectly by Ron Rivera, maybe the other one moment and not taking that time out in the second quarter on the 4th and 1, right, where they had to settle for the field goal because they got the delay of game. But the game plan and the overall cohesiveness between offense and defense was phenomenal that way. And, yeah, the offense controlled the game, and then, of course, the defense was really good and made some clutch plays down the stretch.
Was that the play where
he snapped the ball and Curtis
and the receiver caught it?
I don't think he was supposed to, but he caught it, right, and he was going around the edge. Right.
I thought that's a hell of a play.
I did too. I was like, whoa, and then I watched the replay, and I was like, that wasn't supposed to be like that. Yeah. But that was an awesome performance there, and I don't know. We're gonna see. Is this an issue with the Eagles? It's something that I think I know I've talked about on my podcast a little bit, where their D-line, in these moments where they play, okay, our offense hasn't taken over today, and we're not necessarily just lighting up the scoreboard, and you're playing a team that has a pretty good weapons in the pass game and has a decent passing attack. And, okay, are you going to be able to get to the quarterback without blitzing or doing something crazy against some of these guys? And they might get away with it in the NFC. They might. There might not be that offense that can attack them. But we know in the AFC there is some offenses that'll be scary that way. Oh, you got to play Mahomes in the Super Bowl and you can't get to the quarterback? Oh, good luck. We'll see how that game goes, and no matter how good you are. Same with Josh Allen and the Bill. Oh, you got to play them in the Super Bowl? You can't get to them with the front four? Oh, yeah, good luck. It'll turn out well against those guys. So that's the big thing. We know how good they are, but that's something to watch out for, I think, here down the stretch.
Well, and this is part of the reality of a team that builds and builds and builds into this perceived and actual powerhouse. Everybody is probing for the weakness that can be exploited in future games. I know a very zealous and ardent Vikings fan who is concerned about playing the Patriots on Thanksgiving night because Bill Belichick is going to cook something up that becomes the blueprint for dealing with the Kevin O'Connell offense. And then if it works and it exposes it, and then others start doing the same thing.
Well, that's what happens. And then, exactly right.
And so the question moving forward for the Eagles: did the Commanders do something last night that
crack the
will
code
make
a little
it easier
right.
for the Giants to beat them once or twice, for the Cowboys on Christmas Eve, the other teams the Eagles face? I mean, that's the problem. The better you get, the bigger the target is.
Exactly.
In that preseason, you come into the year, it's the Rams that everybody wants to beat. By Thanksgiving, to hell with the Rams.
Right.
We want to beat the Eagles. Now we want to beat the Vikings. We're bringing our A-plus game for those opponents. The target moves during a season.
Definitely.
And the target was on the Eagles last night. Primetime game, division rival, 8-0. the Commanders went out there and they gave their best punch, and they knocked out Rocky Balboa. Apollo Creed won last night.
Yeah, that's right. And, again, teams will emulate. Your point is right. That's what happens. It's that's why we see sometimes that team that is 8-0 or 9-0, all of a sudden they lose, 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 5 because someone cracked the code, and then a team's like, wait, we can do what they did, and oh wait, this other team gave them problems doing this, and if we add that to the game plan, all of a sudden we got something working here. But you got to have, the horses or the Jimmies and the Joes like we're talking about. And of course there were some phenomenal individual plays like this interception here. That was great. I mean, it really was. I think the biggest thing here as far as, again, the playmaking by Washington, but it is all set up by one thing. And the one thing that Washington has that, only some of the special teams are going to be emulated is they got the Bama boys in the middle. I mean, the damn Bama boys make their team. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, allow that defense to do whatever they want because they're just like, I got it in here, coach. You do whatever you want for the rest of the 9 guys. They're amazing. And then Montez Sweat added on top of that. So they have a defensive line that could handle some problems that a lot of D-lines can't handle by themselves either. And that's what gives Washington a real chance in this type of fight. And it's a big reason why they're still in the thick of things here in the NFC and not out of the race.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.